Are you ready?
I'm always ready.
Awesome.
Capital Combat Parley, the podcast audio edition. Garmami Siddo's here with Lewis Hill. Now, big show coming up. Muay Thai live at Lansdowne, November 24th. And who's fighting on that? A man we know with the Bosnian bomber, Mirza.
One hell of a talent. One hell of an amazing post-fight interview. Always entertaining.
He can cut a promo, baby.
Big time. And one hell of a fighter.
One hell of a fighter. And we get to see him. I believe he's the main event or the co-main event. He's one of the events at this show. And why don't we talk to this madman?
Let's do it! Are we calling Bosnia or are we calling him in Ottawa? Oh, in Ottawa. Yeah, okay. That was a joke. Capital Combat Parley. We've got this man who's on the phone laughing, and he's one hell of a fighter. His name is Mirza Hopovac. Did I pronounce that right?
Yes, you did. This time you did, man.
And
No, it's Garmami always pronounces it right. It's Lewis Hill who screws up the pronunciation, but
Yeah.
that's okay. Dude, tell us how training's going, because we were talking to your coach earlier, and we've been watching clips he's put up of you. Like you're a heavyweight who's moving like a lightweight, but with the power of a double heavyweight. You're terrifying right now. I'm afraid to talk to you. Tell us how training's going.
It's going great. I got a dream team behind me, and we're working hard. I feel good. I feel mentally and physically good. Which is important. I feel like I'm in prime. So I'm feeling really good.
now, Mirza, why do you fight? Tell us what motivates you to get into that ring and fight.
Why do I fight?
Why do you fight?
Truthfully, there's nothing that satisfies me more than when I punch somebody and I see fear in their eyes.
Wow.
That's why I fight. I fight it for that reason.
Interesting.
That's an incredible answer, and it's a very honest answer. And I got to tell you, if I'm a future opponent of Mirza and I'm listening to that, that's got to freak me out a bit. Is that part? Do you care about the build up to a fight and getting in your opponent's head, or you just want to see that fear in the ring?
Not really, man. I never look who I'm fighting. I never research the guy. I really don't care about that. I wanna be in my head. I wanna get in my head. I wanna be mentally ready. So whoever is in front of me, it really doesn't matter. I'm gonna do my game plan, and I'm going there to bomb every time. I'm never going to decision. I'm always going to finish the fight.
I remember seeing you fight at, I think it was Rec Thai, I don't remember, a couple of years ago or so, and we interviewed you afterwards. And I remember during the match, it was extremely entertaining because you were continuously, attacking your opponent with such, sadistic savagery that the fans were just losing their minds.
Throws. And
Totally.
Yeah.
And the fans were so... invested in it. Obviously, you've got a huge following here in the Ottawa region. I believe when you went to New Brunswick a few weeks or months ago, you had a following of people that were coming along with you to see you fight. Like, you kind of have a unique sort of dynamic, I noticed, Lewis. I don't know what you think. He's got this charisma.
He's got a connection with the audience. That's
Big time,
incredible.
big time.
And is that something you set out to do, or is that just a natural product of...
I think that's just me, I guess I'm a likable guy, and I got my people, they always support me, so, you know what I mean? Doesn't matter where I go, I got people from Bosnia writing articles, and it's a lot of fun, I'm glad that they enjoy me knocking out people.
Hey,
Do you hear the crowd when you're in there? Do you hear them going crazy?
I'm starting to hear now, at the beginning, the first couple of fights, you zoom out, you don't hear anything, but now that the experience is coming in, I'm a little bit more calmish. So, I'm starting to hear the coaches, I'm starting to hear the crowd. I mean, last time they were chanting, ole, 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 and, it was a lot of fun. It's a big motivation, it's, when you have no energy left, you hear them screaming, you get that, you get a little bit of energy left just to do something crazy,
Awesome.
Now, Mirza, tell us a little bit about yourself. Which part of Bosnia are you from, and how long have you been in Canada?
I'm from Pedor. It's a little bit north of Bosnia. I've been here since 2001, so that makes it 17, 18 years almost. I've been here for a while now, you know.
Now, did you train any martial arts back home, or was that something?
I did. When I was a kid, I was in Shotogan Karate
Oh, wow.
for a little bit, maybe 5 years or so. But, you know, you don't do something for, you know, I was just a kid at that time. And I haven't done that in a while. So you forget quite a bit, you know. It's crazy. I mean, it's crazy how the mind works.
Now, a lot of people, you know, people talk about, you know, oh, Mirza's crazy, he's an animal in there, but they also say on the flip side that he's, you know, an intellectual. He's a poet, he's a philosopher type, and it's almost like you know, I can ask you all sorts of questions, and I'm sure that you would be able to dance along with the range of questions. But this one question I want to ask you is, when you're in the ring and when you're on the receiving end of a barrage of elbows, punches, and kicks, what happens in your mind? What are you thinking about?
I don't know. I've never been on the receiving end.
Oh no!
I've never been there, so I don't know, man. I can't tell you that honestly. I know when I am throwing, you know, I feel on another level. You feel home. You feel, you know, you feel comfortable. You know, just comfortable where you are. You know, comfortable to throw those punches, to be in that clinch, to grind. You know, to grind every part. You know, everything that you have left, you get out there, and it's, you know, that's the feeling I really enjoy.
How have you grown as a fighter in the last couple of years? Since we've seen you fight at Rec Thai, I believe it was 2 years ago. How?
And I saw, a matter of fact, I interviewed him again at another rec when you were out of town, Garmami. So yeah, and that last fight, you didn't seem as happy. So yeah, how have you grown since then? You won that fight. I'll point that out. You won that fight, but you weren't happy with yourself. It didn't seem, in my opinion.
No, I wasn't. At that time, you know, I just got out of I came from Thailand at that time. I won a fight in Thailand, and then I came and I got staph infection on the last day, so I didn't get to train. I didn't have the cardio that I wanted to. And when you don't have cardio, you really, you know, you cannot do what you want to do. And I was quite disappointed at myself, just because I didn't have the cardio and I couldn't do what I wanted to do. But since then, you know, I've been working on my cardio, my hands. I'm always working on my hands, my kicks, you know, just putting everything together. And as the experience comes in, I mean, I've been doing this is my 2.5 years so far since I've been training.
Wow.
And now the experience is really coming together. And, you know, even in sparring, I'm doing combinations. I'm starting to play the game that I want to play, you know, much more technical.
Tell us about training at New Era Combat Sports, because you guys have an incredible stable of combat athletes from MMA to Glory to kickboxing to Muay Thai. Tell us about training there.
Oh man, it's a dream. You know, we have a dream team here. It's honestly like you know, the level of competitors here, it's incredible. And you know, you even I always had trouble finding big guys, you know, to spar with me, you know, to train with me. But here we have big, talented, skillful guys. We have, you know, just everybody, girls, guys. It's just another level. It's honestly another level.
Now, I've heard a rumor that you might be transitioning into mixed martial arts as well. Is that true?
Yeah, we're starting to work on a ground game. You know, we're starting. I mean, I can't wait with the smaller gloves. I can't wait. You know, with 4-ounce gloves, it's something I really, really want to do. You know, Crew Jeff is looking for me for some fight, and you know, I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited.
Is there anyone in particular that you want to fight in MMA? Anyone in Canadian MMA that you want to fight against?
Man, like my boy Mateo said, I'll fight anybody, anytime. You know. So I really don't care. Just come at me.
On November 24th, when you're in that ring, can you give us a prediction of how that fight's going to go?
There's going to be bombs. Bombs. I heard my opponent likes to throw bombs. There will be bombs.
Wow.
That's a guarantee. One of us is going to go down. So I think it's going to be a very entertaining match.
How well do you know your opponent?
I think I seen him. He won, I think, nationals when I won my nationals, I think I seen him there fight.
How would you describe
He was fighting.
how would you describe your opponent's strengths
How would I describe my opponent?
in terms of his strengths and abilities?
I don't know, man. I don't know. That's, you know, I'm not impressed with anything. So
Wow.
you know what I mean. So just come at me. Let's have some fun.
Right on. And
I'm you know, it's more of my strength that I'm impressed with. You know, not his.
Wow.
well, Mirza, we certainly look forward to your match, and we've been following your career, and we certainly look forward to seeing you transition into MMA as well. All the best to you.
There will be bombs.
There will be bombs. Cool. Thanks, guys.
Mirza Hopovac talking about not caring about what his opponent's going to do, only caring about his strengths and telling us there will be bombs. Man, I got chills for this fight already.
And he's quite he's got quite the mind, you know, very confident, very capable, obviously athlete and competitor, and he's getting better and better, stronger and stronger, and as you said, quoting him, there will be
Bombs, baby.
so we look forward to seeing that match.
Thank you for your time, Mirza. You're always good on the mic, and we look forward to your fight and hopefully a post-fight interview as well.
Woo!